So ain't nobody gonna perform for Donald Trump, huh? Which one of you jigaboo gonna be the first one to do it? I'm waiting. I'm gonna roast the out of one of you Uncle Tom ass niggas for doing it. Which one of you gonna do it first?
He performed at the Crypto Ball as part of inauguration weekend for Donald J.
He's doing all these things.
Welcome to Crazy HOA, your go-to channel for the juiciest drama and realest talk in the game. Today, things just got wild. Snoop Dogg just received a major warning, and not from the police or another rapper, but from none other than Katt Williams himself. Katt Williams' full-blown warning: Katt Williams is a man who speaks his mind. No filters, no fear, and no mercy. This time, he's calling out Snoop for what he claims is a major shift in character, saying the dog has gone political. In Katt's own words, Snoop's becoming a political dog. He then dropped this heavy line: "No, sir. Your career is down the road. People might not want to book you in Texas, Arizona, or California." That's not shade. That's a full-blown warning. When Katt speaks, it's never for clout. He doesn't do the internet talk for likes. He talks when he's got something real to expose. And this time, he says Snoop's playing a risky game. It's one where loyalty, power, and truth start clashing in ways that could break careers. The shot at a legend Katt's been lighting up the industry lately, calling out everyone from Steve Harvey to Cedric the Entertainer to DL Hewley. Nobody's been safe. But this shot at Snoop Dogg hits different because Snoop isn't just another celebrity. He's a symbol. He's a legend who rose from gangster rap to global fame, from death row to daytime TV, from the hood all the way to the White House. Snoop's always been a survivor, no doubt about that. But according to Katt Williams, somewhere along the way, Snoop lost that realness that made him a legend. Katt didn't sugarcoat a thing. His message was loud and clear. Snoop Dogg ain't the same Snoop no more. He said Snoop went from standing with the people to standing beside the powerful. And that's where things started changing. Katt called him what he now sees as a political dog, saying he's become the kind of man who barks loud, but only when the system allows it. Is Snoop still the same? If you've been paying attention to Snoop's moves lately, you can kind of see what Katt's talking about. This isn't the same Snoop from Murder Was the Case. This isn't the Snoop who rode with Pac and went head-to-head. With Death Row, this isn't the Snoop who made Doggy Style. This is the Snoop chilling with Martha Stewart, doing commercials for car insurance, snacks, and even pet food. The Snoop who's rubbing shoulders with billionaires, politicians, and major CEOs. Katt's looking at that and saying, that's not growth. That's change. And in his eyes, that change might have cost Snoop his soul. But don't twist it. Katt still respects him as a pioneer. He even said Snoop opened doors, made gangster rap go mainstream, and turned struggle into success. Yet, Katt believes somewhere along that climb, Snoop forgot what really made him great. That raw authenticity, that voice of the streets, that man who stood against the system, not with it.
Career down the road. People might not want to book you in Texas or Arizona or California.
Sir. Wouldn't that be fantastic? Let's let that.
When Katt Williams uses the term political dog, he's not talking about government politics. He's talking about spiritual politics, that dangerous game of trading your truth for status, comfort, and image. Katt believes Snoop got a little too cozy with the same people he once called out. In a world where real voices are being silenced, Katt's not about to let that slide. The beginning of the shift? So where did this all start? Let's take it back for a minute. In the early 2000s, Snoop Dogg was untouchable. He had survived the wild death row days, built his own empire, and earned his spot as one of hip-hop's most respected OGs. He was cool with everyone from Jay-Z to Ice Cube, and he was essentially the Uncle Snoop of the entire culture. Fans saw him as the big brother of rap, the one who could connect the old and new school with ease. But then things started to shift. Suddenly, Snoop was showing up at political events, standing next to politicians, and even defending certain celebrities while staying quiet about others. He started endorsing brands and causes that didn't sit right with some fans, moves that felt way too Hollywood for the same guy who once repped the streets. The recruitment theory to someone like Katt Williams, that shift was a major red flag. Because, as Katt once said, when they can't control you, they cancel you. And when they can't cancel you, they recruit you. According to him, that's exactly what happened. Snoop got recruited. The tension really started bubbling when Katt noticed how silent Snoop stayed during big moments in hip-hop. When artists were getting blackballed, Snoop said nothing. When others were exposing shady industry secrets, Snoop played the calm peacemaker. And when the talk turned to exploitation, Snoop's response was simple: silence.
I want to say this real quick. Now, on the political shit. All you people for the federal government that got not getting paid right now, ain't no fucking way in the world y'all can vote for Donald Trump when he come back up again. If y'all do vote for him, y'all some stupid motherfuckers.
Was inaugurated as the 47th president of the United States of America. Snoop Dogg performed at the Crypto Ball. Now, Snoop Dogg, he got the backlash because people are like, wait, this isn't the same Snoop from 2016 who had so much to say about the artist performance.
But when it came time to celebrate Hollywood, guess who was front and center? Snoop Dogg. To Katt Williams, that didn't look like pride. It looked like a man protecting his position, not his people. So, when Katt said, "I'm sending Snoop his last warning," stop being a political dog, it wasn't just a diss. It was a challenge to someone he once respected deeply. The two kinds of dogs in Katt's world: there are two kinds of dogs. The street dog, loyal, hungry, fearless, and real. The political dog, trained, obedient, and polished. According to Katt, Snoop used to be that first kind. Wild, unpredictable, and raw to the bone. But now, he's acting more like the second one. A man trained to protect the system instead of the streets. The real question about growth, honestly, you can't deny it's easy to see where Katt's coming from. Snoop's on TV more than he's in the studio. He's cooking with Martha instead of connecting with the community. He's selling brands, not messages. And while there's nothing wrong with growth, Katt's asking the real question: what kind of growth is it? Did Snoop evolve as a man or just expand as a brand? That's the part that hits hard because Katt Williams never cared about Hollywood fame. He's never chased the machine. He's fought it head-on. He's been arrested, blackballed, banned, and mocked. But he never stopped speaking. That's why people still trust him. He's too real to fake it. So when a man like Katt steps out and calls out Snoop Dogg by name, everyone listens because Katt's never been scared to lose. And that's exactly what makes his words sting so deep.
Hey, get your life right. Stop worrying about mine. I'm cool. I'm together. Still a black man. Still 100% black.
Katt Williams isn't scared of losing fame. He's only afraid of what happens when people stop speaking the truth. The untold history between Katt and Snoop. Here's where the situation gets even deeper, because there's a history between Katt and Snoop that most people don't know about. They both came up around the same time, running in different lanes but heavily repping the West Coast. Both were respected by the streets, and both were known for keeping it real. At least back then, Snoop always showed Katt love in public. They did interviews together, hit radio shows, and even popped up on stage at comedy sets in the 2000s. There was mutual respect until that vibe started changing. Katt began to notice something. Snoop was suddenly defending the same Hollywood insiders that Katt was calling out by name. While Katt was dropping bombs on Steve Harvey, D.L. Hewley, and Cedric the Entertainer, Snoop stayed quiet. Even worse, Snoop was still taking pictures with those same people, smiling like everything was cool. That's when Katt drew the line and said what needed to be said. You can't be for the people and still shake hands with the puppeteers. That shot was aimed directly at Snoop. A history of reinvention now. This isn't the first time Snoop's been accused of switching sides. Back in the death row days, he was ride or die for the streets, loyal, loud, and fearless. But after Tupac's passing, things shifted fast. Snoop started distancing himself from Suge Knight and began forming new alliances. Then came No Limit, then the corporate deals, and finally, full-on Hollywood. Snoop's reinvented himself more times than almost any rapper alive, and that's part of why he's still relevant today. But it's also the reason some people stopped trusting him. Katt isn't hating on Snoop's success. He's questioning his soul, saying, "You used to lead us. Now you follow them."
Of course, Snoop has responded to the backlash he received for performing for a Trump event. One of the things he pointed out was that we always stick together. We're good at tearing each other apart, which is pretty constant. It's pretty consistent when somebody gets into trouble. It takes backlash from the community. It's always a communal thing. It isn't any action they took. It is the fact that we can't stay together, that we can't stick together, that it's us always attacking us. But that flies in the face of the reality of what's happening right now. It is not us who are tearing down affirmative action. It is not us who is tearing down DEI. It is not us who are tearing families apart. It is not us who have decided that affirmative action and rollbacks that have been that had precedent for 50, 60 years are gone. It is not us that is doing it. It is, I think most people are disappointed because they saw you a specific way, and you have a right to kind of interpret and do whatever artistically you want to. No one's begrudging you that. But why the attack on the community because they disagree with something you did?
Right now, Snoop Dogg hasn't fired back at Katt Williams directly. Not a word yet. But the internet sure has, and it's completely divided. The divided reaction one half is saying Katt is just hating, that he's jealous, bitter, and mad at anyone who made it into the mainstream spotlight. They claim Snoop's just doing what any smart businessman would do, evolving, building his brand, staying relevant, and securing the bag. The other half is riding with Katt. They're saying he's the only one bold enough to speak what everyone else is scared to say, that Snoop's been playing both sides for years, talking about keeping it real while living corporate, and saying he stands for loyalty, but moving with whoever cuts the biggest check. Let's be honest. Both sides might have a point, because this conflict isn't just about Katt versus Snoop. It's about what happens when fame meets authenticity. Two paths. Two philosophies. Snoop represents survival, the man who made it out the mud and stayed in the spotlight for decades. Katt represents rebellion, the man who refuses to bow down, even if it costs him everything. These are two different paths and two different philosophies. Play the game or expose it. And right now, Katt's making it clear. He thinks Snoop's gone too deep into the machine to ever crawl back out clean. What does the last warning mean? But here's the twist. What is Katt really warning him about? When he says last warning, it sounds serious, like something big might be coming. Some fans believe Katt's warning Snoop about karma, about the price you pay when you trade purpose for politics. Others think he's talking about what happens when you keep playing both sides, because sooner or later, both sides will turn on you, and then there are those who think Katt's just tired of watching legends lose themselves chasing Hollywood dreams.
On some real though, it's about time somebody said some gangster shit up in here. Hey yo, Katt Williams, when did they start selling pimp clothes at Baby Gap? My nigga over there drinking that Hennessy out of that little sippy cup.
Katt Williams made his core message perfectly clear. He's tired of watching the people he once looked up to turn into puppets for power. He dropped one of his most important lines yet. The moment you stop talking for the people stop talking for you. The price of the crown, that is exactly what he's telling Snoop Dogg. No matter how rich, famous, or iconic you become, if the streets don't feel you anymore, you've already lost the crown. That's why this warning hits so personal. Katt isn't just talking to Snoop. He's talking to every entertainer who forgot where they came from. He's saying, don't let them turn you into something you're not. Because once you lose your real voice, the system doesn't need you anymore. That's the deeper message behind all the chaos. Katt's preaching about integrity, not just controversy. Snoop's career shows how messy fame really gets. He's been everything: a gangster, an icon, a businessman, a peacemaker, a comedian, an actor, and a mogul. He's earned every bit of success he's got. But with each new move, fans keep asking the same question louder. Has Snoop Dogg become too comfortable, too polished, too political? Let's be real. The Snoop who once said, "Forget the system," is now sitting next to it on talk shows. And that's something Katt says he just can't respect.
He's doing all these things.
Just want to say this real quick. Now, on the political shit. All you people for the federal government that not getting paid right now, ain't no fucking way in the world y'all can vote for Donald Trump when he come back up again. If y'all do vote for him, y'all some stupid motherfuckers.
Still, no one can erase what Snoop has done for the culture. He helped build West Coast hip-hop from the ground up, mentored young artists, created opportunities, and gave back to the community. He's one of the few legends who has aged gracefully. No wild scandals, no breakdowns, and no destroyed reputation. But maybe, just maybe, that's the real issue. In a world built on chaos, staying calm looks suspicious. Clash of Principles Katt, however, is chaos personified. So, when Katt Williams looks at Snoop's calm demeanor, he doesn't see peace. He sees compliance. To him, that smooth, polished image isn't power. It's submission. One thing about Katt is that he's never been the type to stay quiet or send soft warnings. When he says last warning, he means it. If Snoop even hints at a response, you can bet Katt is coming back 10 times harder. This isn't just a back and forth. It's a full-blown clash of principles. Truth versus tolerance, the rebel versus the ruler. These are two legends who took completely different roads to the same spotlight. And that's exactly what makes this so fascinating to watch unfold. Katt represents the voice of the people, raw, unfiltered, and fearless. He's the one who speaks what others are too scared to say. Meanwhile, Snoop represents the dream, the man who escaped the struggle, built an empire, and became untouchable in the industry. Both of them started real. Both changed the culture forever. But now, only one refuses to play by the game's rules. And in Katt Williams' eyes, that's the difference. Because what happens next could go either way. Maybe nothing, maybe everything.
Going to be at this thing.
Okay.
And I think it really does beg the question whether the culture is starting to thaw to Donald Trump. I mean,
in this industry, silence speaks louder than words. And if Snoop Dogg stays quiet after all this, it won't signal peace. It will mean the power games are still being played behind closed doors. This is Spillhood, where we pull back the curtain on the fame, the drama, and the secrets that run the show. We're not just talking gossip. We're uncovering what really goes down behind the lights in luxury. So, hit that like button, subscribe, and drop a comment below. Do you think Katt's got a point? Did Snoop really sell out to the system? Or is Katt just tired of fighting battles that nobody ever wins? Because one thing's for sure, when Katt Williams says, "This is your last warning," you better believe he means it. Thanks for watching, fam. This story is far from over.